Hello everyone, I'm Asmita Sarma and I work at Accountability Lab Nepal. I would like to welcome you all to Civic Action Team Creative Convening and Community Mobilization panel discussion where we will be talking about Accountability Lab's initiative called Gov-HER-nance. Just to give a brief introduction about Accountability Lab, it's a global trans-local network that makes governance work for people by supporting active citizens, responsible leaders, and accountable institutions. One of the major programs of Accountable Lab is Civic Action Teams, which tries to connect leaders and communities by bridging the feedback loop between them on continental like local issues to find local solutions. This model has worked on diverse issues, including disaster response, labor migration, fiscal transparency, public-private partnership, and pandemic response. Governance is an initiative within the Civic Action Team that has a vision for samrachana sabaika laagi, or system for everyone, especially in regards to gender equity and social inclusion, local development, and open government. So today we'll be having a discussion about how it was able to convene local government and community to close the feedback loop towards making inclusive governance. But before I introduce you to the panel, let's watch a short video summarizing the program together.
चाहिँ मैले आफ्नो कलम अगाडि त्यो स्टोरी मार्फत चलाइरहेको छु कि त्यो पनि महिलाका लागि पछाडि परेका महिलाका लागि उनीहरुका हिंसाका कुरा अगाडि ल्याएको छु सबैभन्दा मन परेको कुरा त्यही हो
यो धनगढी उपमहानगरपालिकालाई लैङ्गिक मैत्री उपमहानगरपालिका बनाउन सकेको भए अब लैङ्गिक मैत्री उपमहानगरपालिका यतिकै त हुँदैन त्यसको लागि त हामी भित्र पनि त केही कुरा त हुनु पर्यो हामीसँग त्यो बुझ्ने क्षमता हुनु पर्यो जहिले पनि हामी के भन्छौं यो एउटा जेन्डरको चस्मा लाग्नुपर्छ भन्छौं नि त अब त्यो चस्माले हेर्न सक्ने शक्ति हामी सबै जति जनप्रतिनिधि छौं हाम्रो कर्मचारी जीवहरू हुनुहुन्छ उहाँहरुमा भयो भनेपछि मात्रै यो नगरपालिकालाई लैङ्गिक मैत्री बनाउन सक्छौं
थुप्रै मान्छेहरु हामीसँग खुल्नु हुँदैन नि त कसरी उहाँलाई चाहिँ खुलाउन सकिन्छ त उहाँहरुका समस्यालाई बाहिर कसरी ल्याउन सकिन्छ भन्ने कुरा पनि हामीले फेलोको रूपमा पनि थाहा पायौं
चाहिँ जुनसुकै काम गर्दा जुनसुकै बजेट बाँडफाँड गर्दा हामीले कम्तीमा जेन्डरका कुराहरू हामीले नछुटाउनु पर्ने कुरा मैले देखेँ र त्यसले गर्दा सानो हाम्रो सपोर्टले पनि उहाँहरूको चाहिँ एकदमै लाइफ नै एउटा चेन्ज हुने सम्भावना पनि मैले देखेको छु
कसरी हामीले समाजको यो दुईटा आँखाले बराबरीको हिसाबले जो तल परेको समुदायमा तल परेको व्यक्ति छ भने त्यसलाई हामीले कसरी उचाएर यो माथिको व्यक्तिसम्म ल्याउन सक्ने हो त भन्ने किसिमको जो यो कार्यक्रममा छ एकदमै राम्रो
I hope the video helped everyone to understand the larger picture of governance. I would like to introduce our speaker for today. Here we have Preksha Bimali from Accountability Lab Nepal, who lead the governance initiative, guiding and supporting the activities on the ground. And we also have Ganga Bhandari, who is working at the ground, leading the inclusion fellows and connecting local government with the communities. I would like to welcome you both to this session today. Welcome, Preksha and Ganga.
Thank you, Asmita.
And thank you.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. Just to give a brief background about Nepal first. So patriarchy is still deeply rooted in Nepali society. Social and gender bias, exclusion, and discrimination can be seen in different forms. Due to existing tradition and cultural practices, women and LGBTIQ communities are vulnerable to violence and oppression. Practices such as dowry system, chaupadi pratha, menstrual health, and taboos against LGBTIQ communities still exist in Nepal. We could see in the video that Accountability Lab collaborated with Dhangadhi sub-metropolitan city for governance. So Preksha, is there any specific reason to choose and collaborate with Dhangadhi sub-metropolitan city for this initiative?
Yeah, of course, there is. This idea of governance is actually a shared idea between the Dhangadhi sub-metropolitan city and Accountability Lab Nepal. We believe in supporting community needs and collaboration. So what happened was during the time of pandemic, Dhangadhi sub-metropolitan politician city was the one of the first local administrative government to have established different quarantine centers for female as addressing to the needs of their security, because there were lots of issues regarding the abuse and harassment of females. So they created a separate quarantine centers. So this idea of developing a woman-friendly or gender-friendly quarantine centers then extended into building a gender-friendly society. As you have also seen in the video, the deputy mayor herself shares that she has a vision of developing Dhangadhi as a gender-friendly local unit, and she also admits that she and the other government official lacks in the capacity and the resources of capacity and resources in building or in turning their dreams into a reality. And that is where we Accountability Lab come into picture. We help in convening and designing the initiative and creating implementation plans and executing it together with the Dhangadhi. So if I have to conclude, I would say that one of the reasons for working with Dhangadhi is because of their self-initiation and interest towards this reason.
Preksha, as you said that the idea is a shared vision between local unit and accountable lab, but how is the idea first received at the ground among different communities in Dhangadhi? So Ganga being a local from Dhangadhi itself and a fellow of governance initiative, how were you and fellows able to convince the local people to participate in this initiative? Like, could you share your experience with us?
Yeah, one of the keys to connecting easily to local people and the community was inclusion fellows. Being the local of Dhangadhi sub-metropolitan city, was also a part of the fellowship and had a great learning experience. My friends, the other fellows belong to diverse communities, including Dalit, LGBTQI, Tharu, person with disability. When we went and talked to their respective communities, it was not always easy for people to open up. However, it took less time to build a rapport in the communities, as we were locals and had diversity. They slowly open up about their personal challenges, domestic violence, abuse, and other concern. Stories that they share during our field visit were really heart touching. The people from LGBTQI community felt they had a safe space to share their everyday challenges with us. I also want to share the story of going to Dalit community, where people were very happy and stated that no one has ever come them to actually listen to their concerns, especially the issue and hardship of female. That was a moment of realization where I felt what we were doing was important. Further, we were able to connect some of the community's members who needed immediate services to our offices and municipalities, thereby building trust between the government and citizens. Okay.
Just speaking of like building the trust between government and citizen, how did you bridge the feedback loop between them? Pricha, can you share the approach and the tools used by governance initiative here?
Yeah, sure. Like we had basically three approaches. The first one being enhancing the capacity of local municipal leaders, especially the females. What we did there was we kind of created workshops, opportunities for them. We supported them in identifying the challenges they had as a local government in forming inclusive decision making or inclusive unit. We supported them, we helped them identify their needs and then supported them with the knowledge workshops and all the resources that are actually required in creating the larger vision of inclusiveness. And these platforms were also a chance to create to create a dialogue and consent, dialogue and debates regarding the gender structures, power narratives, and how the gender or the personal challenges could influence them from taking decisions and converting this vision into reality. And this platform also helped them in identifying the solution and how they could move forward. And the second approach was to equip the citizen with the facts and tools to tackle the gender stereotypes and the social norms related to it. And we did this by the fellowship approach. We had 9 fellows from the local community who were representing the different backgrounds and different cultures of Dhangadhi sub-metropolitan city itself. They visited different communities who were rather ignored and collected the real-time feedbacks and the concerns. Further, we also enhanced the skills through different capacity building trainings and mobile visual storytelling, which is one of the effective way of taking the message from community and amplifying the voices. So our third and last approach was connecting between the community people and the government. The fellows basically acted as the connecting loop, the connecting link between the community and the government. They collected all the feedbacks and concerns of people, and then communicated it to the government official through the meetings. Like they have already built a good rapport with the local government there. So through the meetings and workshop, they were always there sharing the community perspective and also help them to organize the direct conversation of the government and the people. So that these were our basic 3 approaches.
Okay, I must say, like enhancing the capacity of female local leaders and even like mobilizing a local youth like Ganga for solving the local solution and preparing them to become a leader seems to be really an effective approach. As you talked about the fellows bridging the gap between community and government, like how was the process? Like, could you like walk through it, Ganga, once and like tell us like the process, how it was?
We were 9 fellows. We were provided continuous support, training, and mentorship from Accountability Lab to better understand the issue related to inclusion and the approaches we should use for community and government engagement. We reached out to the local people and community and interacted with them on a regular basis through one-to-one interactions, thematic group meetings, and stakeholder meetings. We collected their issue and concern, and also in the meantime informed about the facilities and services from the government through our bulletins. Further, through the mobile visual storytelling, we could bring out powerful representatives stories from the ground. We then voiced the concern and feedback to the local representatives during meetings and workshop with the local unit. We also used radio as a tool to reach larger mass through our program. Now the community members look up to us to share their concerns.
Yeah, so training local champions and providing them with necessary equipment and then using the powerful tools as Ganga mentioned about like bulletin, themes and regular interaction leading to some like strong relationship has proven to be a very effective process I think for a lab. So apart from tools, like how fruitful do you see the power of convening here? Precha, can you just like tell us like how you see the power of convening to the governance initiative?
Talking about power of convening, we always believe that whenever the stakeholders or the related beneficiaries are brought together, there is always the sharing of ideas and exploring new ideas and finding ways to collaborate. So it is very important we bring in the related stakeholders in a place. Especially the government officials and the community people. Oftentimes, what we see is that the idea of inclusion is not always taken in isolation rather than it being the theme for every policies or every program. So, as an example, I can share you the example of policy dialogue. So what happened was Dhangadhi sub-metropolitan city was had recently drafted a JSC policy, which we call as gender equity and social inclusion policy. So this policy was drafted by the local government without any actual consultation with the other government officials or other related stakeholders. So here we intervened and we helped them facilitate a feedback session where we brought in different stakeholders, which include the young activists, the community leaders, each shared their feedback. They each shared their concern, like how they were actually represented or how the policy had missed out the real concerns. And in this way, through a feedback and proper dialogue, a policy was developed which not just talked about the gender in general, but also emphasized on all the layers of the gender and all the intersect. So further, this policy dialogue also turned out to be a kind of policy orientation for the other ward members, because they are the one who would be actually implementing this policy and in the ground level. So they being there also clear the objective, also help them understand the objective of the policy and to apply it. It would be easier for them to apply. So had there not been this kind of convening or this kind of feedback session, there will not be any policy that would be fully owned and such a holistic kind of policy.
I know, like, it hasn't been, like long since this governance initiative was started. And Ganga and you have already previously talked about inclusion fellows, worked, like they have been working to connect the link between community and local government. So, is there any like stories that you want to share us today, Precha? Like anything that you have encountered or like heard from the fellows?
Yeah, there are actually some stories. If I have to share, I will share one. Like during the time of visiting to the community and collecting the feedbacks, we found out that the gender-based violence is one of the biggest issue there. It was like in every community and in every places. So the local government also have a judicial committee formed which looks into the matters of gender-based violence in the community level along with other disputes. But the thing was that people were not aware about this community. They were not like clear about the procedures of reaching out there and seeking the service. So they hesitated in taking the service. So what we did was every time the fellows went to the community to consult meeting or to meet with the diverse community, they conveyed this message in very simpler way. We also conveyed this message that the idea of judicial committee is not clear among the people with the local government. So they enhanced the awareness campaign and started some more sensitization programs. And there, further with cooperating with the Accountability Lab, the local government also issued and produced a material regarding the judicial committee, how you can seek services and what are the services provided in a very simpler way, so that the people can understand, and it was disseminated in the community. Uh, yeah, that's it. And also, if there are other examples, like there is a committee of LGBTIQ people in Dhangadhi, which is near the which is in the center of the Dhangadhi. But Before this, they had connection with with the local government, but it was very rare and limited connection. But after the fellows has reached out, and through the help of with one of our fellows, they are like been more connected with the local government. Now I have myself seen them, connecting with the local government and participating in program and voicing out their issues of how they are not represented in the national level stats, or how they are missed out from very basic facilities due to documentation issues and such. So there has been proper connection and proper that connection between the community and the government.
Yeah, I think like that's really the stories that just now you have shared is like really powerful stories, like being like a local government, going and like approaching LGBTIQ communities and being more concerned about those issues. I think like it's really powerful. So and now I'm like really eagerly, waiting to hear like what's next, So what's the update in the city right now, Ganga, when Accountability Lab is out of the picture? So what's happening now in the ground? Could you share like the latest update from the ground?
Yeah, the local government has taken ownership of this campaign as we worked on a shared vision. Now, most importantly, they have realized the importance of youth leaders in the communities. The sub-metropolitan and fellows are coming together to find a way where they can best collaborate and continue with connecting the feedback loop. The fellows have grown as confident leaders, having access and good relationship with both communities and the government. So even without the accountability lab, the campaign for the samrachana sabaika laagi, which translates to system for everyone, is continuing with local ownership.
That's really, like great to hear, like local government taking ownership of the campaign initiated by Accountability Lab and including inclusion fellows like Ganga and her friends in their upcoming plans. No project or like campaign or initiative can succeed unless they are truly owned by the, local administration and people itself. Here, the Accountable Lab has been able to strengthen the sense of ownership by being there and then facilitating and then aiding them to develop the capacity within themselves and incorporating, equity and inclusion, like as a larger mission. On the other hand, they have been able to enable the community through the cohort of active and local fellows. I think that governance initiative is definitely, strengthening the capacity of elected female local leaders to promote gender-friendly local unit or governance in Nepal through better access to justice, service for women. It's building a democracy from bottom up with women. Thank you so much, Preksha and Ganga, for sharing your experience with us today. It was wonderful to hear from you both today. Thank you all for your time and listening to us. Enjoy your rest of the day. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.